Okay, the next couple problems we're going to use the Richter scale magnitude of an earthquake based on earthquake intensity. This is not usually how earthquakes are measured, but this is a valid fact of earthquakes, and this is the magnitude equation based on intensity. This log has no base written, which means it's understood to be base 10. If you want to write base 10, that doesn't hurt anything, but just know it is base 10 logarithm. I is the intensity of the earthquake. M is the magnitude of the earthquake. I sub 0 is the intensity of the zero level earthquake. Basically, it's the amount of the earthquake happening right now below us. Okay, the tectonic plates are always moving. There's always a little rumbling going on. It's not enough to be detected by us, but they have really sensitive instruments that can determine that yes, the earth is moving. If you ever look at a seismogram, there's always this little thing going on there. And then if an earthquake happens, it starts doing a little bit more of this. And then if it does one of those things there, then you better be somewhere outside of a building, hopefully. That'd be a bad place to be, inside a building when that happens. But anyway, but just know that a zero level earthquake's always happening. There's enough movement there that we can call it something. It's very little intensity. But what makes an earthquake noticeable is when the intensity intensifies, all right, when it gets a lot bigger. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So I sub 0 is at zero level, and the intensity is always given as a multiplication of a number times I sub 0. So anytime they give you an intensity, the intensity is 5,000 times I sub 0. 5 million times I sub 0. 15 trillion times I sub 0. All right, so whenever they give you an intensity, it's always compared to that zero level earthquake. And as far as magnitude of an earthquake is concerned, we go one decimal place, because that looks better in the paper. It was a 3.7 earthquake, as opposed to, it was a 3.7543214560 earthquake. People get lost, and as they see a bunch of decimals, they just move on to a different story, and they don't read about the earthquake. So they always go one decimal place in the news, so news wins on this one, go with their plan. So, find the Richter scale magnitude of the nearest tenth of the 1999 Joshua Tree, California earthquake that had an intensity of 12,589,254 times I sub 0. So, we have a magnitude formula which says magnitude of the earthquake equals log base 10 of I over I sub 0. That's the formula every single time we're going to give an intensity, when we're given intensity. Anytime you see the word intensity in the problem and it's involving earthquakes, you see the word intensity, it's that kind of a problem. Every time. Alright? Next. There's two variables in this problem. It looks like there's three, but there's two. Alright? I is a variable, M is a variable. I sub 0 is just the zero level earthquake. It's a constant value. It's going to have no bearing on anything ever as far as working this problem out. Alright? So they're either going to give you the intensity and ask for the magnitude, or give you the magnitude and ask for the intensity. Those are the two things they ask for when you're using this formula. In this case, had an intensity. They even say I equals, so they're telling us I. They're like very, very helpful here with this. So if I substitute that, I still have M equals, that's what I'm looking for, log base 10 of. Now if I take this intensity, which is all this stuff, times I sub 0, and I divide by I sub 0, so that's what I have going on here, 12,589,254 I sub 0 being divided by I sub 0. What happens to the I sub 0s?
Cancel.
They cancel. That's not a coincidence, that's just what happens. So all we have to do is log that number, and our calculator knows the answer to that. I had no idea what the log of 12,589,254 is. And my calculator is pretty smart about this kind of stuff.
7.1.
7.099999996. Okay, so 7.1. Magnitude has no unit. It's just 7.1 is the magnitude. 7.1 is very destructive. Brick buildings crack. Wood buildings get demolished completely. Straw buildings would get demolished completely also if you're in the Three Pigs story. Anyway, so 7.1 earthquake, again, one decimal place when you're finding magnitude. If they use the word intensity using this formula, they're either going to give you that or give you that. You find the one they're asking for each time.